This standard is about graphing lines. We're going to learn 3 different ways to graph a line. One is by using a table of values, another is by using x and y intercepts, and the third is by using the slope-intercept form of the equation of a line. So let's start with table of values. So I'm going to make a table, and I'm going to fill it with values. So here's a table, x and y. So I'm going to pick some values for x. If there's nothing funny about my equation, no fractions or anything, I typically pick 0, 1, and 2. Those are easy numbers to do the arithmetic with. So if x equals 0, in place of x, I'm going to put 0. So I have 3 times 0 minus 1, that's 0 minus 1, which is negative 1. If x is 1, I have 3 times 1 minus 1, or 3 minus 1, which is 2. And if x is 2, I have 3 times 2 minus 1, or 6 minus 1, which is 5. So you can plot those points on the Cartesian plane over here. 0 for x, negative 1 for y, 1 for x, 2 for y, and 2 for x, 5 for y. So I'm going to connect all those with a straight line. And that's the graph of the line y equals 3x minus 1. If there's fractions, sometimes it's better to pick numbers besides 0, 1, and 2, because then the arithmetic will be easier. So if I have 1/5 x plus 2, it's going to be easier if I pick x's that are multiples of 5. Then when I take 1/5 of them, I'm going to get whole numbers. So I'm going to start with 0, because that's always a good bet. But instead of 1, I'm going to pick 5, and I'll keep going up by 5s. So 1/2, 1/5 times 0 plus 2, that's 0 plus 2, which is 2. 1/5 times 5, the 5's cancel out, you've just got 1, so 1 plus 2 is 3. And 1/5 times 10, cross reduce those, that turns into 2. And then 2 plus 2 is 4. So when you graph that, 0 for x and 2 for y, 5 for x, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up 3, it's there, and then going out to 10 and up to 4. So I'll connect all those. There's that line. Sometimes your teacher's mean and gives you the equation without y by itself already. So you're going to have to use your skills at getting y by itself. So first I'm going to get rid of this 4x by subtracting 4x from each side, which leaves me with negative 3y equals 6 minus 4x. Then to get y by itself, I have to divide by negative 3. And I get y equals negative 2 plus 4/3 x. So let's make a table of values for that line. I'll do it over here. X, y. So this time I'm going to go up by 3's because the number in front of x has a 3 in the denominator. So 4/3 times 0 is 0, and negative 2 plus 0 is negative 2. Okay, 4/3 times 3. 3's cancel out, that's just 4. And then 4 plus negative 2 is 2. And 4/3 times 6. The 3's cancel, so I've got 4 times 2, which is 8, plus negative 2 is 6. So let's graph that one. X is 0, y is negative 2. It's there. X is 3, y is 2, is here. And then x is 6, y is 6, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right there. And there you have it. So is the point 9, 1 on this line? What this line is showing you is all of the points that will make the equation 4x minus 3y equals 6 a true statement. There's an infinite number of points that will do that, and all of those points lie on the line we just drew. So if I want to find out if 9, 1 is one of those points, I'm going to put it in the equation and see if I get something that's true. So 4 times 9 minus 3 times 1. Does that equal 6? Probably not. 36 minus 3, nope, that doesn't equal 6. So that point is not on the line. Next, let's graph some other equations that are a little bit more unusual looking. Y equals 3. If I was to make a table of values for that, it doesn't matter what I pick for x, y is always going to be 3. So I'm just going to come over here to this grid and draw a bunch of dots that have y equal to 3. There's one. If x is 1, y is still 3. If x is 2, y is still 3. It doesn't matter what x is. Y is always going to be equal to 3 for this equation. So what that actually is the graph of a horizontal line. So this is y equals 3. How about x equals negative 2? It's kind of similar. Let's make one dot that's at x equals negative 2. And now let's just keep on drawing lines, or excuse me, dots that have x of negative 2. That one does, that one does, that one does, that one does. All those guys. So if you connect all of those, that's going to give you the graph of the line x equals negative 2. Next, we're going to learn how to graph lines using x and y intercepts. The intercepts of a line are the places where it crosses the x and y axis. So I'm going to make a little table. The place where the line crosses the x-axis is going to have a y-coordinate of 0, and the place where it crosses the y-axis is going to have an x-coordinate of 0. So if you can just fill in those 2 points on the table, you'll have 2 points, and that's all you're going to need to draw your line. So first of all, let's say y is 0. So I'm going to put that into this equation. 3x plus 2 times 0 equals 6. 2 times 0 is 0. So that means 3x equals 6, or x equals 2. Next, I'll put 0 in place of x in the equation. 3 times 0 plus 2y equals 6. 3 times 0 is 0, so 2y equals 6, or y equals 3. So x is 2 and y is 0. So that's one of the intercepts. And x is 0, y is 3. So all you have to do is connect those 2 points. With a line that goes through them would be better, but that's what we've got here. And that is the equation of the line 3x plus 2y equals 6. Let's try another one. The numbers won't be quite so pretty for this one. So x and y, and I'm going to do 0 and 0. So if I put 0 in place of y, 0 equals 1/2 x plus 3. To get x by itself in this equation, I'm going to have to subtract 3 from each side. So negative 3 equals 1/2 x. To get rid of the 1/2, I'm going to multiply each side by the reciprocal. So I get negative 3/2 equals x. That's the x-intercept. Next, I will put 0 in place of x and see what I get. So it So y equals 1/2 times 0 plus 3. 1/2 times 0 is just 0, so y equals 3. So let's graph this one. Whoops, let's put 3 over here for y first. So 0 for y, negative 3/2 for x. That's going to be in between the 1 and the 2. And then 0 for x and 3 for y. It's right there. So connect those guys. And there you have it. The last method of graphing lines is using slope-intercept. The equation y equals mx plus b is the slope-intercept form for the equation of a line. It's called that because the m in front of the x is the slope, and the b, which is the number by itself, is the y-intercept. So if you look at this equation here, y equals negative 3x plus 4, the slope is negative 3, because that's the number in front of x, and the y-intercept is 4, because that's the number all by itself. So all I have to do is go up to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the y-axis, because that's where the line's going to cross. And then I do a slope of negative 3. So I need a rise over run for a slope. Negative 3 I'm going to write is negative 3 over 1. Negative 3 is the rise, and 1 is the run. Negative 3 for a rise means I go down 3 over 1, make another dot, and then draw the line that connects them. Let's try another one. For this one, the equation is not in slope-intercept form at the start, so you have to do a little bit of work to make that happen. So I'm going to subtract 8x from each side and get negative 3y equals 9 minus 8x. To get y by itself, I'll divide each side by negative 3. So y equals negative 3 plus 8/3 x. If you want to put that exactly in slope-intercept form, you can change the order around. 8/3 x minus 3. So the y-intercept is negative 3, so I'm going to go down here to negative 3 and make a dot. And the slope is up 8 over 3. So up 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 over 1, 2, 3. There's my second dot. So connect those, and you have your line. We're going to extend this idea about graphs with slope and y-intercept to see if we can come up with an equation of a line given the graph of the line itself. So what we just learned was y equals mx plus b. So I can look at this line and I can find the slope and I can find the y-intercept, and then I can write the equation. The y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis, so that's 6. To find the slope, I need to find the rise and the run. So I'm going to start at 6, and I'm going to go along the line until I see the next place where it crosses an obvious grid point. That's right there. So to get from 6 to there, I had to go down 2, and then I went over 3 to the right. So that means the slope is going to have a rise of negative 2 and a run of 3. So the equation of the line is y equals negative 2/3 x plus 6.